We talked to Johnny Porto about his record-breaking day at Universal Studios Florida on episode 322 of the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Welcome back, everybody. We are glad you are joining us again today. We got kind of a special episode going on today, so I'll get right into it. I will be your host today, and joining me, we have Lee.
Hello, everyone.
Tracy.
Hello.
And our special guest, Johnny.
Hello.
I've just realised, Chris, right, that on the last two episodes, poor Darren hasn't been sort of mentioned of why the fact that he's not here.
Uh-oh.
Well, the ghost of Darren is also here.
Yes.
But he's actually doing a lot of haunts this season, so...
He's with us in spirit.
Yeah,
in spirit, he's with us.
I think at this point, he's back home. But as of recording, he would still be... I think it's his last day in LA today.
Yeah.
We could contact him with the Ouija board.
Yeah.
In keeping.
Yeah, based off of his pictures, it looks like he and Nina are having an amazing time over there.
He is living all his Back to the Future dreams.
Yes. I don't think he's giving us a second thought.
No.
So UUOP what?
Yep, that'll be
Let's be honest, I can't remember the last time Darren missed an episode, so...
No, he's earned it.
He has.
Yeah, we're alternating now. I'm going to be here for a month, he'll be back, and I'll be gone. So
Hang on. Has anybody seen them in the same room together?
Well, I haven't.
Ooh. Voice changer on.
You conspiracy theory, I like it.
So, Johnny, before we discuss the record you set, let's talk a little bit about you and Universal Studios. So, when did you first visit Universal Orlando, and what is it about the resort that you love that brings you out there?
The first time I visited Universal that I can remember was 2002. It was I remember specifically 2002 because that was the 20th anniversary of E.T. They were doing all the re-releases of the movie and all of that. And that's when I first rode the ride. The three rides I specifically remember were E.T. That's an obvious one. Yep. Jaws. Awesome. Because I was kind of afraid of Jaws, and I kind of liked it at the same time.
Absolutely.
The ride that I was definitely terrified of was Earthquake. That ride, every time I would go on it, like I would just close my eyes because it was scary. Obviously, as I got older, I kind of appreciated it more. But those first few times I went to Universal, I was like, oh, I do not want to go on this ride.
That's weird that out of those three, it's like people are terrified by E.T., but for different reasons. Mm-hmm. And Jaws, I remember taking our kids on it for the first time. And yeah, that can be a scary ride for a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Twister I wasn't really afraid of because, I had experienced hurricanes over here in Florida, so I'm used to it. I was like, so it's a Twister, whatever. But Earthquake, I was like, oh my Lord, like this is crazy. The truck falling over and the runaway train and the flood, it was too much for me.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you on that. Down in South Florida, we live through Twister every year from September to like November.
So Johnny, out of the two parks, which one is your favorite?
Oh, Universal. Everybody loves islands and everybody prefers islands, but it's more Universal. Like I said, I'm a film junkie. Mm-hmm. It's whenever I go to Universal, like I legitimately feel like I'm on a film set. And in my opinion, Universal just has better rides, man. Because islands is more of the thrill ride for the thrill seekers. They have all the roller coasters and the Doctor Doom fall. Universal's more for like, the only thrill ride we have in Universal really is the Rip Ride Rocket. Yeah. Besides that, if you want to count the Mummy, but the Mummy is really not a thrill ride like that. But yeah, it's just I've always been a fan of Universal. Always. Like I didn't go to Islands of Adventure till like I think till Harry Potter opened up. I never had gone to Islands of Adventure.
I think you look at them and they are two very different parks.
Very
I
much
think
so.
Universal Studios was a product of the time when it was built, and Islands is like that next evolution. It's going to be very interesting to see what the third gate ends up being like.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I heard rumors that it's going to be the Nintendo Land that they couldn't build in the Kid Zone. That's what I'm hearing right now.
Yeah, I think what was the last we heard? I want to say that Pokemon's going into islands, into the Lost Continent. There's something going into the studios, and then I think it was Donkey Kong and Mario that they were putting into the new park.
What was going into? I can't remember what was going there.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it might be Pokemon might be going to the studios now, and it might be Zelda. Zelda might be going into
Zelda
into Lost Continent.
Yeah.
That was right. Yeah. Another one then. So taking Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios Florida, Johnny, what's your favourite ride in each?
Universal obviously is E.T. Nothing will top that ride. And in Islands of Adventure, I have I want to say a 3-way tie, but it's a tie between Skull Island, Reign of Kong. Obviously, Skull Island, Reign of Kong doesn't hold a candle to the original one.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I never got to ride the original Kong, like I still love it. Like I just have a strange fascination with that ride. Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, I like it better than Gringotts.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much. So Harry Potter, I definitely love. And Jurassic Park, I got to ride Jurassic Park for the first time in the summer, and I was just blown away by it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I had a really bad experience with one of the dinosaurs that has the hood that sprays out the venom.
Yes.
Mm.
I was over here admiring the scenery, looking. All of a sudden, I feel a splash of water on my face, like right on the side of my cheek. I turn around, and the dinosaur had sprayed the water at me. I'm like, oh, well, that's a rude awakening. and actually, fun fact: that dinosaur is actually was created by Spielberg.
Yes.
Spielberg, during the production of the movie, said he wants a dinosaur that sprays its venom, but it's hooded like a cobra, and that's what he came up with.
Cool.
I've also heard that he's never actually ridden that ride properly, that he made a section so he could get off at the top of the lift hill, so he didn't have to do the drop.
I heard about that.
We're going to have to get him on the show and talk about that.
We'll
Tell you
have
what,
words.
I can end this podcast at that point if we get Steven Spielberg.
That's the pinnacle.
It's what we've been building up for years.
Yeah.
So, Johnny, where is your favorite place to eat in Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios Florida?
My favorite place to eat before it closed was NBA City. I don't know if you guys remember that restaurant.
Yeah, where Toothsome is now.
Yeah.
It was in City Walk. It was next to the Hard Rock. It was like one of the last restaurants in City Walk before you arrived at Islands of Adventure.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm a huge sports fan, so I love that restaurant. You know, with the arcade, and they had the basketballs outside where you could compare your hands.
Yeah, they had massive hands. Did you remember that?
Yeah.
The hands were massive.
And in fact, I seen those same basketballs on eBay for like $9,000.
Wow.
Like, ones. So I'm like, if I ever win the lottery, like that's the first thing I'm buying.
Yeah.
And I still have original tokens from the arcade there, and I just love that restaurant.
That's so cool.
That's cool.
And after that restaurant closed, I want to say my favorite place to eat is inside the park is Monsters Cafe, and outside in the City Walk would be the Hard Rock.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, we'll go to top butterbeer now.
Now, I know from watching your video, Johnny, you're not the biggest Harry Potter fan, but it's a question we ask all our guests.
Yeah.
You know what? You watched the one in the summer. I've actually rewatched the whole series because when I was young, I watched Sorcerer's Stone, Prisoner of Azkaban, Chamber of Secrets, and then Goblet of Fire when it came out. But I lost it after Goblet of Fire because I was so young. I didn't understand the whole concept of the Triwizard Tournament and all of that. So I just gave up on the series. Like I never watched any other movies. And then this summer I sat down and rewatched all the Harry Potter movies. And I really have warmed up to the franchise. Like my favorite character out of all of them is Sirius Black. Because I mean Gary Oldman, come on. He is just awesome. Yeah, so awesome. I've warmed up to the series. And when I went for Horror Nights, I bought a couple of things from the Harry Potter store. I bought the shirt, the Sirius Black shirt, the one that says "Have you seen this wizard?" Yeah. The wanted poster. I bought Sirius Black's wand, awesome. And I always have to buy a chocolate frog. I mean, that's a given. That's a given if you're going to Wizarding World of Harry Potter, is you buy a chocolate frog. And I got one of the new cards. I got Bertie Bott's, and now apparently, when you buy the chocolate frogs, you can trade cards. The guy from the front counter has a box with all the cards. And I traded him for Godric Gryffindor because I'm a proud Gryffindor, so I had to get Godric Gryffindor.
Awesome. That's a good tip. I didn't know you could do
that. I like trading anything, so
Awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
All right. So did you try butterbeer?
I did. When I went in the summer, I tried butterbeer. At first it tastes pretty good, but once it gets flat, it's not so good.
Was that regular or frozen?
Yeah, the regular.
Yeah.
The regular.
Is that the only one you've tried?
Yeah, that's the only one I've tried.
Well, then that makes that question a
It
moot
does.
point.
So on your next visit, I suggest the ice cream
I will do
because
that.
it's amazing.
I-
But actually, I suggest
Yeah.
the pumpkin juice. That's my favourite. I'm always trying to convert people to pumpkin juice. Shut up, Chris.
The hot's the best one.
It's like cardboard.
I was watching a video yesterday of some guy. He's like, "Oh, there's a secret drink in Harry Potter called pumpkin fizz." He tried it, and his face told the whole story. He literally said, "It feels like I'm literally drinking a pumpkin."
Pumpkin fizz is nice. The
Yeah, I was
pumpkin
gonna say
juice is nicer.
Pumpkin juice is so nice.
Yeah.
But it's apple and apricot juice. So with a
We'll
bit of
have to
spice in it.
disagree, but
The one thing I did want to try now that when I went to Horror Nights, but I never got to try because the line was ridiculously long for it, was the pizza fries. I never got to try
Chris.
that. I didn't get to try it.
Johnny, you messed up.
No, because it was right next to ET. So as I was coming out of ET, I see the big sign that says pizza fries. I'm like, that sounds interesting. I look in there, and the line is like out of the building. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, no, I'm not waiting in that line.
Yeah. The year before, there was nobody in that line because nobody
Knew
even
about
cared.
it.
Yeah,
Know
and then
about
once
it.
they found out, if you go back this season again, they sell the pizza fries inside of Louis, the pizza place inside of New York. They didn't really advertise it, but it's a lot quicker to get your fries there. But yeah, you got to try the
and
fries. They are
now-
the best.
When I went back, I was looking through Twitter, and everybody was raving about it. It's like, oh, pizza fries, pizza fries. I'm like, damn, I should have tried them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look good.
We've never tried any of the Horror Nights specific food, even though we've been loads. Well, I've got a question for you, John. You've already answered it. You are apparently a proud Gryffindor.
Yep, that's my house. I have a Gryffindor Quidditch banner up here. I played Quidditch World Cup. I don't know if you guys remember that game.
I do remember it, yep.
I played Gryffindor. I picked the Spanish team, took an undefeated season. So, yeah.
Awesome.
All right. So, Johnny, we are going to put you through our rapid fire.
Okay.
Basically, we will go down a list of questions. It's A or B, one or the other, and you just kind of shoot them out as quick as you can, all right?
It's a not
All
think
right,
about it, just
Shoot from the hip.
Just from instinct. All
Whatever
right.
comes to mind first, all right?
Okay.
All right. So, Hogsmeade or Diagon Alley?
Diagon Alley.
Forbidden Journey or Escape from Gringotts?
Oh, Forbidden Journey all day.
Is it the Hogwarts Express, London to Hogsmeade or Hogsmeade to London?
I've only been from Hogsmeade to London.
There's that answer then.
Cool.
Yeah.
Spider-Man or Transformers?
That's a tough one. They're almost the same ride. Like literally, they're almost the same exact ride.
Yeah.
I would say Spider-Man because it has more visual effects.
Yeah. Shrek or Minion Mayhem?
Shrek or Minion. I would say Minion Mayhem because Shrek, it just feels like I'm just sitting in a theater watching a movie.
Yeah.
The next question, actually, you can't
No, you
answer.
can't answer.
So I'm not going to ask you that. Chris, it's on to
For
you.
legal reasons, we cannot ask that.
I can ask him. He'll just go, I'm not old enough to drink, so.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Oh yeah, one of my friends actually got banned last year for a year in Horror Nights because she took a sip of a drink and got caught.
Yep, we'll
Yep.
do that.
They don't mess around.
Yep.
All right. Pumpkin juice or Flaming Moe?
I haven't tried any of them. Let's see. I don't know. Flaming Moe because it's just got that cool dry ice effect.
Yeah.
Wrong answer. Horror makeup or Sinbad?
Oh man, I've been wanting to go to the horror makeup show, but I didn't. I went to the entrance of it, like to check out the Jack displays and all of that.
Yeah.
But I haven't been to any of them. I don't really go to many shows.
I need to change
Like,
it now because Sinbad's not there.
I'd say horror makeup show because I feel like I'd be, like I said, I'm a film junkie, so I'd be really interested in that stuff.
Yeah,
That is
that's
another
my
one you
favorite.
have
I was
to
going to
do.
say, that
It
is your mission
awesome.
next trip.
Yeah.
I will do that. I gotta start making a list. All right, Pumpkin
do.
Fizz, horror makeup show.
All right, next one's an
gotta
easy
start-
one. Next one's an easy one. Fast and Furious or Skull Island?
Oh, Skull Island. Skull Island. No, listen. I have not heard one person say they like Fast and Furious. Because
Neither have we.
We've heard one.
The thing is that Fast and Furious, it doesn't have any movement. You're just sitting there and they're blowing air in your face. At least King Kong has, like a lot of movement, and at the end, the payoff is the animatronic.
Yeah.
Like I rode Fast and Furious once. I was like, my reaction was, they took out Earthquake for this? And then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna ride it again the second day, and I'm gonna give it another chance. I'm gonna see. Maybe I was just in a bad mood or something. I don't know. So I rode it again. I'm like, no, I'm still bored.
So you rode it twice?
I rode it twice.
Congratulations, you've set 2 records now. You've now rode Fast and Furious more times than anybody else.
I rode it the first day when I went to do the E.T. record, and then the second day because I had the 2-day you buy one park, you get the second one free for Florida residents. So and I went the second day and I took the Hogwarts Express back to Universal Studios. I rode Fast and Furious again, and then I rode Simpsons. Fast and Furious, I rode it again. I was like, same thing. I felt completely bored on it. Like I'm telling you, the only part I felt entertained in that ride was when The Rock comes out with that big machine gun and he goes, "Let's go, Cookie Puss." That's the only time I felt entertained in that ride. Like when he said that, I started cracking up because I used to watch a lot of wrestling. So he says that on a daily on wrestling. He had one time he led a Cookie Puss chant in wrestling.
No.
Like, he's like, everybody in the arena, Cookie Puss, and everybody just started chanting that. So I found that kind of funny, but that was the only time I felt entertained in that ride.
You are not alone.
And then in the queue, finding the disaster and earthquake Easter eggs. That's about it.
Yeah.
But in terms of the ride, it's no, because you see, it works as a studio tram ride because it's a pit stop from all the sets and all of that. But as a standalone attraction, no, it just does not work like that.
Yes.
Cool.
All right, Blues Brothers or Celestina Warbeck?
Man, I want to say Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jaws or Back to the Future?
Oh man,
On you.
Dang, now this is a tough one.
Yeah.
I only got to ride Back to the Future once before it closed.
Mm-hmm.
I rode Jaws multiple times. It's a tough one, but I'm gonna have to give it to Jaws.
Sorry, Darren's not here. He won't offend him.
I'm more of the physical ride type of a guy than the 3D simulator.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Megatron or Optimus Prime?
Optimus Prime.
In ride effects, fire or water?
Fire, man. Just because that effect in the Mummy with the fire on the roof, it gets
awesome.
me every time.
Yeah,
One of our favorites, isn't it?
So cool.
Yep, it's like I read that it was like 107 degrees, like at the rider level. It's like 3,000 degrees on the roof.
Wow!
But once it gets down to the rider level, it's like 107.
It's hot, I know that much.
Yes.
Yeah, the first time I rode the ride, I was like, man, I'm like, how would they do this, man?
Imagine getting stuck at that point, like we did.
Really?
It was a nice little oven for us. Yeah.
Whoa. Did they even bring you some coffee?
That'd be the perfect ride to ride in when it gets cold up there. In winter.
True.
That'd be the perfect ride to ride.
Or after you've just done like Jurassic Park or Build Trap Barges or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So Frog Choir or Ragtime Gals?
The Frog Choir. I like the Frog Choir.
Me too. Grinchmas or Mardi Gras?
I haven't been to any of them. See, I don't go to the parks that often.
Yeah.
Because I live in Miami, and plus the cost of admission for theme parks is very high now.
Yeah.
Well, then out of the two, which would you rather do?
I love Jim Carrey's Grinch, so probably Grinchmas.
There you go.
Is the correct answer. So I'm a huge Grinch fan.
One of my all-time favorite Christmas movies is Grinch. Polar Express. I love all those movies. So I would say
Same
Grinch.
here.
So this one would be, which one would you rather do? Mardi Gras Parade or Macy's Parade?
Probably the Mardi Gras Parade, honestly.
Good
I love a party, man.
Yeah.
I love a good party.
Cool. Halloween Horror Nights, IP or original?
Oof. Probably the IPs, because I mean it's crazy watching the movies and then going. I binge watched Stranger Things before I went to this year's Horror Nights. So when I got into the house, it literally felt like I was in the show, and I was blown away by it. I rewatched Poltergeist too, and I was in Horror Nights. I was talking trash. I was like, Poltergeist's not gonna be scary. The movie's not that scary. for me, that was the scariest house.
Wow.
And that's saying something because I'm one of those guys that doesn't get scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I went into Poltergeist and I came out, I was like, whoa, like the one scene that it has all the sheets and then the big clown head coming at you. I got startled in that house a couple times.
Cool.
But yeah, IPs.
So sticking with Horror Nights, Express or Stay and Scream?
Oh, I usually just get Express Pass, so Express Pass.
Fair enough.
Seuss Landing or Kid Zone?
Man, that's a tough one. I haven't really been a lot. Like I said, I've only been to Islands twice. Probably the Kid Zone because I like the ball pit area they have where you can shoot the plastic balls. Me and my dad used to have a blast in that when we would go.
Okay.
That's a good enough excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Port of entry or production central?
Oh, Production Central.
What?
He's
I'm a
movie
film
fan.
junkie.
Fair
I'm
enough.
a film junkie.
Fair
like
enough.
I
Makes
said.
sense.
And you know what? Now I found out recently that I might actually have to go to Orlando to study film because
Oh, cool.
FIU, one of the biggest universities in Miami, doesn't have a bachelor's for film.
Ah,
So I'm like, well, I guess I gotta go to UCF.
Any excuse is a good one.
absolutely.
I told my mom the only thing I want is an annual pass for Universal so I can live at that park like every day after school, just go and visit the park.
Awesome. Cool. So right,
That sounds like you.
Leaky Cauldron or Three Broomsticks?
Man, let's say the Leaky Cauldron.
The Hull or Rip Ride Rocket?
I want to say, man, I haven't ridden any of them. Like I said, I'm not at the thrill ride. I'm not
All
a
right.
thrill ride type of a guy.
Yeah.
Fair
I'd
enough.
say the Hulk.
Cool.
Okay.
One fish, two fish or Kang and Kodos?
One fish, two fish.
The Islands of Adventure Lagoon or the Universal Studios Florida Lagoon? I feel like these questions are kind of pointless at this point.
I'd say the Universal Lagoon because they got the show,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the lagoon.
All right. Express or Virtual Queue?
I've never really tried the virtual queue. I think I only tried it once for Jimmy Fallon, but I'd say Express.
Yeah.
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 Back to the Future, DeLorean or train?
The DeLorean. I wish I could own the DeLorean, but I mean, I'd look like a weirdo riding around the street with that thing.
Yeah.
Would you care? No.
Honestly, no. Honestly,
Exactly.
no. Listen, I drive a Toyota Corolla with my music blasting to school every day. While everybody
go.
has Mustangs and Camaros, and I'm over here with my Corolla just blasting my music through the parking lot. So I really wouldn't care.
Listen, if you
There
drove
you
it
go.
down Darren Street, you'd have a weirdo waving
Oh,
you down.
yes.
So-
I'm assuming you haven't done the mini golf then, Johnny?
No, I've seen it in
Right.
City Walk.
Yes. So
No, I haven't done the mini walk.
if you could choose one side or the other, would you rather do Ghostly Greens or Invaders from the Planet Putt?
The first one you said was the Haunted Mansion one,
Yes.
right? I'd say the Haunted Mansion one.
Okay. And finally, the Lighthouse or the Globe?
Oh, the Globe,
Yeah,
man.
again.
The Globe's iconic.
I'd have bet the house on that answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost didn't even ask it.
That's iconic, man.
Yeah.
That's like asking, okay, last one, E.T. or any ride in the park?
Oh, come on. E.T., of course. Hey, honestly, I'm not afraid to say this. Best ride in Universal.
Hey, if that's what it is, then
Do you
stick
know
to
what?
it.
Yeah.
More power to it. It's actually
Absolutely,
quite
yeah.
interesting talking to you, Johnny, so far, of someone of your age being quite reminiscent and sort of enamored of those old physical attractions. It's quite refreshing.
Oh, yeah. I remember in high school. We would all, everybody's going to Grad Bash. They're like, I didn't go to Grad Bash. But everybody was like, oh, I'm going to ride the Mummy. Oh, I'm going to ride, Rip Ride Rocket, this and that. And everybody's like, oh, Johnny, what's your favorite ride? I'm like, E.T. They're like, are you kidding me? They're like, out of all the rides in the park, you like E.T. They're like, something is wrong with you.
You got an old soul, my friend. There's nothing
Yes.
wrong with that.
Not at
I'm
all.
like, that's just my ride. I'm like,
Yeah.
that was the first ride I like completely remember like like by memory, like just riding it in Universal, and I fell in love with it.
Awesome.
So I would just tell them, "Yep, E.T. That's my ride."
Cool.
Cool.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break to hear from Mouse and Muggle. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, Michelle and Robin here from Mouse and Muggle Travel Company. Sorry to interrupt this awesome episode of the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast.
We promise not to bore you this time.
So, blah, 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 we sell vacation packages.
And blah, 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 we're experts on Universal and Disney destinations.
And blah, 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 our services are free to you.
But what you might not know, we're just a couple of super cool ladies who like to have fun and know all of the tips and tricks to make your vacation all you had dreamed it would be.
You can learn more about us at mouseandmuggle.com and fill out a quick quote request form while you're there.
Just be sure to let us know you heard about us from the UUOP. And remember, whether you're a mouse
or a muggle, Mouse and Muggle Travel Company can help make your next vacation simply magical.
All right. And we're back. And now we're going to move on to Johnny's record attempt.
Yeah, the actual reason he's on the show.
Yeah. We had to pick his brain for Universal, find out, if he can stick around long enough, and he can. He passed the questions.
Yeah. We'll let him
And now
start.
let's get to the good stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, Johnny, can you tell our listeners what was the record that you attempted to break?
World of Micah's E.T. 25 times in one day record. And like I said, I'm a very competitive guy. So I saw that video and I was like, that doesn't seem too hard. Especially the fact that E.T. doesn't have a line. The lines for that ride is almost non-existent. And I had a Fast Pass Unlimited. So I was like, I could probably do 30. And I ended up doing 56.
More power to you.
Yep.
They're not the comfiest ride seats, I've got to say.
Yeah, you get a bit
The back
saddle sore
isn't.
after that.
The back isn't. The back is just one row. But the other ones they're pretty comfortable.
Okay. Right. So
Actually, just before we get Johnny, when was it World of Micah set his record? Do you know?
I think it was in 2014. If I can't recall, but I think it was 2014.
So it stood for quite a while
4
then.
years, and yeah.
Yeah, it's stuck for a while. I don't know if anybody has done it 100 times or anything, but the only documented record is 25.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't think anyone would want to own up to having ridden E.T. 100 times in a day.
Why?
No, I don't think so. There's been people coming up to me. It's like, how in the world? Like, can you ride? After the second time I ride that ride, I'd be done. I was like, how did you ride it 56 times? I'm like, well, it's just like, every time I ride that ride, I see something new.
And that's the sign of a good ride, that even when you've ridden it as many times as you have, and then you're going through it more and more and more, that you can still find stuff that you didn't notice the last time.
I'm going to tell you guys a story. A lot of people don't know this. And I know because I've looked on the internet and nobody's talked about this. When I went for Halloween Horror Nights this year, I finally got to take the production tour for The Mummy. And The Mummy's my second favorite ride. The whole time I've been to Universal, I've been deathly afraid of that ride. 2012, I rode it. I mustered up the courage. I rode it with my mom, and I fell in love with it. And I finally got to take the production tour. And like I said, Kong is one of those rides that I'm just fascinated with. Because my parents said that I rode it, but I don't remember riding it. And that would be a ride that you can remember. Because, I mean, a giant gorilla, how can you not, how can you forget that? So I took the production crew and the production tour, and he was explaining to me the story, and I kept telling him, about the Kong, and it's on my YouTube channel. I kept explaining him, like, that this was the old Kong building and all that. And he's like, I'm going to show you a couple of things that not a lot of people have seen. The light on the wall from the first scene to the second scene, from when you see Imhotep sucking the guy's soul out.
Yeah.
And then there's a light on the wall that passes through.
Yeah.
It's like an orange light. If you look to the right, when the light is about to die down, it's King Kong's roaring face. Like, it's two eyes, the nose, and the big mouth opening up. And you can see it clear as day.
Wow.
And I have a picture of it, and I'll send it to you guys.
Cool.
And then the second secret that he showed me, he took me to the staff elevator. So he's like, I want to show you something that not a lot of people have seen. He opened up the elevator, and he's like, look up the elevator shaft, the little crack on the door on the top. And I'm like, I can't see anything. All I see is some weird writing. He's like, let me get a flashlight. He pulled up his flashlight, and somebody, when King Kong closed and Mummy was under construction, wrote on the metal part of the elevator, King Kong Forever. And so, like, you can see it clear as day. It says King Kong Forever. He's like, this was the same elevator they used to get up to the gorilla and the catwalks in the ride.
That's awesome.
It's really cool.
That is awesome. Yeah, I love stuff where they do that, like the behind the scenes things. There used to be one for E.T. We have a team member friend who isn't currently working at E.T. but did for the longest time, and they used to offer what they call the forest tour. So if you have, apparently there's nobody there who's worked the attraction long enough to be able to take you on it now, and we've sent people to try and get them to do it. But apparently they used to do that. They'd take you around the forest queue, and there's apparently quite a lot of hidden details in there that not a lot of people know.
Oh yeah. There's a rumor for the longest time that the speak and spell, the communicator from that ride was the one in the movie, but it's not. The one in Hollywood that was the actual one used in the movie, but now they moved it to, like, I think it was the Illinois Museum of Science Fiction.
All right.
Okay.
But yeah, now every time I ride the Mummy now, like, I just see it on a whole, like, a whole new perspective. And the guy was super nice. He took me through the whole queue. You know, he showed me all the secrets, and then at the end, he actually goes on the ride with you.
Cool.
That's cool.
And nobody was. We had the ride to ourselves. That's the second Universal ride third that I've ridden alone. Well, with him, obviously. But
the first was Fast and Furious, right?
No, the first was actually Men in Black. It was 30 minutes before Horror Nights closed, and I'm like, I'm gonna ride Men in Black. I go in there's nobody in the building, and I had to ride all to myself. Wow. And then the second one was E.T. Since I kept, I'm not sure if I told you the production crew entrance that they let me through. Every time I'd get out, I just go right back in, so I didn't have to wait in any line or anything. So as the people were waiting in the queue watching the video, Steven Spielberg, I was already in the ride. So I had the ride all to myself.
Awesome.
And then the third one was obviously the Mummy with the staff. And he points out different things in the ride too, like the light and obviously everybody knows the King Kong statue that's on the left of the of the guard. So everybody knows that. And there's an E.T. Easter egg in there too, but I couldn't see it, because I took off my glasses for the ride because I didn't want them to fall off. But he says on the top left corner of the screen where the head pops up that he's like, serve me or savor riches of eternal life. E.T. is supposed to be up there somewhere, but I didn't really catch a glimpse of it. I caught like a little bit of it, but like I didn't really see the whole thing.
Yeah, I remember Darren telling us when he did it, they showed him that apparently there's like a quick flash on that screen in one of the corners as E.T. flashes up.
All right.
Yeah.
The top left.
Yeah.
But I was really fascinated at the King Kong one, the light, because I knew about the statue, but I didn't know about the light, and that the tracks were still on the building as well. They
built most of the Mummy around the existing Kong track, which is crazy to think of. But
so, Johnny, why did you decide to make this record attempt?
Well, for me, it's just bringing more publicity to the ride and hopefully keep it open. I know Spielberg has the ride locked down, that Universal can't close it. But I wanted to bring more publicity to the ride because that's often a ride that it's overlooked. I mean, you go to the Universal for the first time, you open up a map, the first thing you're not gonna think of is E.T. At least for me, I think of E.T., but other people are not gonna think of E.T. They're either gonna think of the Mummy, Harry Potter. Harry Potter is number one. But like it's in the far corner of the park, like nobody goes to it anymore. Like you see the lines, like even on peak days, it's like less than 20 minutes, less than 15 minutes. Like when I went, it was like 10 minutes. So I'm just trying to bring more awareness to the ride and to keep it open, hopefully, because a lot of the rides that close, Universal's excuse for it is, nobody's interested in those IPs anymore. Jaws, it's old. Even though Jaws did have a lot of problems and it caused a lot of problems for Universal. King Kong, nobody cares about King Kong anymore. Nobody cares about Back to the Future. I'm trying to show Universal, hey, we care about E.T. Yeah. Like, look, a guy wrote it 56 times, so obviously he has to care about E.T.
I think the problem with E.T. is it's unless you've got kids, you're not gonna. It's not a ride you're going to happen past because it's not on that. Like you think Universal Studios Florida is. It's not like Islands as much, but it's still kind of a circle. You could do the circle around it and pass 90% of the rides. Yeah. But you're not going to pass E.T. You've got to make the effort to go into Kids Zone to get anywhere near that attraction. So it is kind of out of the way.
Yeah, it's definitely obscure because before that used to be the Psycho House. They filmed Psycho 4 and it was an ET ride and then the Psycho House back there where I guess now they have all the storage stuff. But man, not a lot of people go on the fullest I've seen ET was probably this past Horror Nights that everybody was lining up to go to the trick or treat house. That's the most people I've ever seen in that area of the park. Besides that, nobody goes on it. Like people my age, like kids my age, like they don't go to that. They go either Harry Potter, The Mummy, like the hot IPs. Yeah. Like it's like I said, it's rare for somebody my age to do what I did this past summer at Universal. Yeah. Like I said, when I was in high school, people would tell me, "You're out of your mind for liking ET." Like they expected me to like the Hulk or something like that, but I was like, no, like I like ET. That's the first ride I rode when I went to Universal, and I fell in love with it.
And cool. Like I say, it's good to hear. You know, the park have got to look out for people like you and hope that there are younger people gonna. I sound like a real old fart now, don't I?
Yeah.
But that's got to be the future of those attractions. You know, ET is a how old's the film now?
88, 182. It was
5 or
so it's an old film,
like 36, 37, I think.
And it is, I think, other than the horror makeup show, it is the only attraction that's still open from day one of that park. And it's sad that they've got rid of so many of those other attractions. That is the only one there. And for all we don't ride it a lot when we go, it's something that I don't want to see removed from the park.
No, me either.
Oh yeah, same. And if they are gonna remove it, but Spielberg has that contract. I don't know if you guys heard about it. That Spielberg has the contract and all of that. If they're gonna remove it, put a worthy successor.
Absolutely,
like they did with King Kong. King Kong, the Mummy is a worthy successor to Confrontation. It is. But when they remove, Escape from Gringotts, I still would have preferred Jaws.
Yeah, I agree.
But Earthquake putting Fast and Furious, that ride is nowhere near the level of Earthquake at all.
Yeah.
And when I started seeing, before when they closed Jaws, I threatened never to go back to Universal. I was like, no, that's it. Like they closed Jaws, are you kidding me? But then I went back and I rode ET. I'm like, okay, so at least we still have ET.
Yeah.
But then I started looking at why they shut down the attraction or why they shut down Jaws and Confrontation and Earthquake. They were problematic. I heard that every year they had to drain the Jaws Lagoon and it cost them $1 million just to drain it. And then the gas for the fire would cost them $2 million every year. So that's already $3 million every year on that one ride.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to look at one point they stopped the fire explosion from the barge in the middle of it at one point for about 6 months because it was costing them that much.
Oh yeah. And I remember one time I heard a story that a duck fell onto one of the mortars. This is a story that I've heard. I don't know if it's true, but I think it is. A duck landed in one of the mortars and it went off and the duck landed on the boat.
Oh my God.
The duck landed on a boat. There's a story out there. I think if you watch the Defunctland video, he talks about it. There's a duck that got burned because he landed on one of the mortars. But
Chris, when you read that Jaws book,
yes,
that story needs to be in there.
Yes.
And if it's not, I'm going to ask Dustin about it when we have him on.
Wow. Oh, I need that to be true so bad.
Dinner and a ride.
Dinner and a ride.
Talk about traumatizing kids.
Yeah.
Can you imagine
the biggest fear a kid had was not a giant shark.
Yeah, it was a duck.
With the Jaws skipper shouting duck, and his head's and it's not, it's a real duck.
Oh my God, they made a mess of that duck as well.
Oh, poor ducky.
And so I started reading at some of those attractions that caused Universal so much money and caused them so much problems. But then you look at ET, and I've only seen one video of ET breaking down.
Yeah.
And it was like the lights came on by accident.
Yeah.
That's it. And when Universal opened, that was the only ride that was running smooth. Earthquake and Kong went down because of a power outage. Steven Spielberg got stuck in Jaws because of a thunderstorm.
For about 4 hours or something, I think.
Oh, yeah. That was the only ride that was running smooth.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a good point, actually.
I would love to get stuck on ET just because the walkway looks kind of fun to go through.
Oh yeah, and I've even seen videos of people getting evacuated in the new Skull Island ride.
Yeah.
Like they're walking by the giant animatronic and stuff like that.
That's
And
cool.
like I've never heard ET breaking down.
No.
Like I've
No.
never
Good
heard that
point.
many problems with it. So it's like why are you gonna shut down a ride that works perfectly
Yeah.
fine and is not costing you that much money?
yeah.
That is a very good point.
Yeah.
So speaking of the ride and your record attempt, then Johnny, for everyone listening, how did the day go? Basically, from the start of you going to ride it the first time to the 56th ride of the day.
Well, I got there and I was in my Marty McFly not costume. I had the ET shirt. If you're probably watching the video, I have the shirt on now with a red vest, just like the one Marty McFly uses. And I told the person working at the shop, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go for this record, blah blah blah. And usually I talk to the person in the shop before I go on the ride. And they're like, oh, okay, hold on. They call somebody over and they take me through what is the child swap entrance. And you can see it in the video. They opened up the production crew door that's on the left of the cave. You know how you have the big giant cave that goes into the forest, and then on the left there's a black door that says production crew only. They took me through there, and what's behind that door is a line. Well, not really a line, but like a separate line, which they use for VIP tours.
Okay.
And obviously production. So they took me through there. And they're like, oh, okay, all right, McFly, make like a tree and leave.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then I went on the ride, and then the second time around, I went through the normal entrance. I used my fast pass and all of that. And then as I'm watching the video, I get a tap on my shoulder, and it was the same woman that took me through the. I wish I could remember her name, and I only remember one person on the from the staff. But she tapped me on the shoulder. She's like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, oh, I thought it was a one-time thing. She's like, no. You can use that production crew door as many times as you want today. Like that's specifically for you.
That's awesome.
And she opened up in the middle of the video playing. She opened up the door and she's like, go in, while everybody was still watching the video. So I went on it again, and I think about the third or fourth time, that's when I went on it alone because everybody was still waiting back in the queue. So there was like 2 or 3 rides that I had it all to myself.
You know, the one thing you missed out on going through that production door all the time, though?
The queue.
E.T. never said your name.
Oh, no, he did.
Oh, good.
No, he did. A couple of times he did. The first time, the woman actually scanned the card and she put my name as Marty.
Awesome.
So the bike was leaving. He's like, goodbye, Marty. I'm like, yo, that is awesome. Like, this day cannot go any better.
Yeah.
And then I've had a couple times where I put in my name. And then I think it got to a point where I just, like, to make it faster, like, I didn't put my name.
Yeah.
But those few couple of times he did say my name. But like I said, like I was saying to a few other people, it's a gift and a curse because I actually enjoy the queue of E.T.
Yeah.
And, you know,
awesome.
I found this out as I was coming back from Horror Nights. I saw it on Twitter. There is a company that makes the scent of the queue. I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, I need to get me one of these. Like, they have a spray, a candle. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, they actually made the scent of the queue. And when I went for Horror Nights, like, I was standing outside of the purple door and I could smell it. Like, even on the back of the soundstage, like nowhere near the door, I could smell the forest and the fog and all of that. And I was like, man, like how much smell are they pumping into this ride?
I think that ETQ smell is like crack to old school Universal fans.
Oh yeah. To anybody. Like really, that like there's only certain smells that I can associate with a place, and that's one of them.
Yeah.
That's one of them. So I went on it about 30 times because that would beat World of Micah's record. He did it 25 times in a row. So I did it 30 times. But obviously I couldn't stay in ET the entire day because I'm going to get my money's worth, obviously. So I rode Fast and Furious. I rode Escape from Gringotts. I rode everything else. I only missed Jimmy Fallon and The Simpsons, which I went back the second day and I did. Oh. And then I went back and rode it 26 more times in a row. And I mentioned in the DMs that I met a certain athlete in one of the rides. So this was one of the rides that there was not a lot of people in. It was like nighttime already. It was like maybe 6 or 7. And I'm sitting there and there's a couple in the front. It's like a guy and a woman. And so I'm sitting there, I'm vlogging the experience and all of that. And the guy turns around, he's like, "You're a YouTuber?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, I'm Kalisto from WWE." And at first I was like, "No way, bro," because Kalisto, he's one of those masked wrestlers. He wears the lucha mask. And I was like, "No way." I'm like, no, you're full of it. Like at first I was kind of skeptical, but then I was like, "Oh man," and then I started believing. I was like, "Okay, maybe this is." So and I looked up on Wikipedia. I was in the back of the ride; they were in the front. So I looked up on Wikipedia. I'm like, "What's your first name?" He's like, "Manuel." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna believe this guy. I'm gonna go with it." And then I took a picture of him. And then when I really realized that it was him, it was like a couple hours later. He posted a picture on his Instagram, and he was wearing the same exact hat that he was wearing the day I met him.
Awesome.
I was like, "Oh my Lord, it was really him." And and his wife now follows me on Instagram too, because she's like, "Oh yeah, I remember you with the E.T. thing." So I took a picture with him too. He covered his face obviously because you know the luchador mask is very sacred, so you know they can't be seen without it. So, but yeah, I'm actually one of the few guys that's seen him without his mask, and he looks like a regular dude, man. He looks like a regular guy. So I actually got to meet a WWE wrestler, and the funny thing is when he mentioned wrestling, you know that they used to film, or they used to, or they now, or I don't know what's the deal with it now.
No, I'm not sure whether they still do or not.
Yeah, the TNA wrestling, they used to film it. I actually went to one of the tapings one time. But yeah, I'm like, "Oh, they filmed TNA right up here." He's like, "Nah, I'm with the WWE." So he's like representing WWE. But I'm like, "Yeah, one of the sound stages here, they used to film TNA. I don't know if they still do." And he's like, "Nah, I work for the WWE," because you know they have the performance center over there in Orlando.
Yes.
But yeah, I got to meet Kalisto, and that was the one person I didn't even expect to be on that ride.
Right.
I was like, "All right, cool."
See, the question I kind of alluded to at the beginning, Johnny, and even though you've kind of answered it at this point, was, so we were sat watching your video, and you'd done it, like you said, about 30 times. And then you decided, I'm going to take a break now, and I'm going to go and do Fast and Furious and all the rest of it. I sat there, and Chris said the same thing. I was like, if I was going to break that record, there's no way I would have took a break. I would have like, do you know what? I'm going to take your 30 goals in a day, and I'm going to wipe the floor with it. And that 2 or 3 hours or whatever it was that you took a break out, I would have hammered it for that time there. But I understand now why you didn't. It makes sense. So I'm not going to reveal too much about it.
Like, I mean, I had to get, I mean, like I said, I only go to Orlando like certain times. And now
that
I
makes
go
sense.
often because, you know, the whole ET thing. And I went in December of 2017 because I had a 2-night stay at the Gaylord Palms. I don't know if you guys know.
Yeah, the Gaylord Palms
hotel.
is an amazing hotel.
Amazing resort. So I won a 2-night stay through the local newspaper here in Miami. So I had been planning to go to Universal in February for my birthday. And I had been planning to get a computer for Christmas. So I'm like, you know what? Let's do this. We're in Orlando. It's December. Let's go to Universal, and then we can leave the computer for my birthday. And so we went to Universal, and then, you know, I rode E.T. The funny thing was, when I went the first time, I was actually in the process of making an E.T. Interplanetary Mission review. I don't know if you guys saw that video.
No.
It was because you know how they have the whole story of the Atari E.T. that it crashed the video game market, and it basically ruined the industry. There's an E.T. game that it's not that bad. It's actually playable. So I wanted to make a review of it. Not that many people had done a review of it. And I was having problems with the story because I wanted it to be that I find E.T., he calls a ship, he calls it the mothership, but it turns out he doesn't call his ship, he calls the xenomorphs from Alien. And then we both go on a chase, and then, you know, we go flying through the sky, but I didn't have a green screen. So, and it definitely took a lot to do that and to make it look, you know, relatively good. So I was like, man, I'm literally about to just pull the plug on this video because there's just no way to make it. And I was explaining the person from the store, because the ride on not so busy days, it opens like later. It opens at 10. The park opens at 9, and the ride opens at 10 the days that it's not so busy. So the person in the shop actually told me, "Oh, if you want, you can record the ride and see if that helps with the story." And I was able to change the story enough to where, you know, it made sense. So it would be me that I'm here playing my video game, and E.T. steals my Reese's Pieces, and then I go into my house, I hear a loud bang, and then I go outside, and there's actually, this was the hardest part. In Miami, there's not that many forests, right? So I had to look for a forest, and I filmed the scenes in there, and then I wanted to up the ante. I wanted to get a Jeep, because in the ride, there's the Jeep that comes out from the darkness.
Yeah.
So like I want to get a Jeep to like chase me around the forest. And I don't know if you guys know, but in the summertime in Miami, it pours every single day.
Yep.
And so my friend Chris, he had a Jeep, and he didn't want to take his Jeep through the mud, obviously, because if it gets stuck, who's going to help him take it out? So we waited for a day that it didn't rain, and we rented a Jeep, because Chris, he did not want to lend us his Jeep. So we went to Hertz and rented a Jeep for a day. And we filmed the scenes, and the video is one of my favorite videos to date. Like, it came out amazing.
Cool.
I was able to put the ride in the video, which was amazing. That I was able to take my favorite ride and include it in one of my videos, and it's just amazing. And that's another reason why I made that video, because I want to show Universal's like, hey, young filmmakers like me still use this ride to make homemade movies as well. It's not
That's
just
cool.
a ride. Like we use it to make our story. And there's actually one shot in that video that I did. I took the Miami skyline with the Marlins Stadium, and I put a moon behind it. And then I took like a GIF of a guy in a bike, and I put E.T. in the front, so it looks like I'm riding through the Miami skyline over Marlins Stadium. I'll send you guys the video.
Brilliant.
Through the night sky, and it just came out amazing. I love that video.
That sounds
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
It was definitely the hardest video for me to do, but the payoff was it was all worth it at the end.
Awesome.
yeah, Johnny, can you let everybody know where they can check out the video of your record attempt and how people can follow and interact with you?
My YouTube channel is Johnny Awesome, the second one, because I know there's one Japanese guy named Johnny Awesome. Mine's the second one, and you can follow me on Twitter at Johnny Awesome V1.
Awesome. Cool.
Awesome.
I've got a quick question
Uh-oh.
for my co-host and Johnny, actually. Right. So, Johnny, you've already, you've set, as far as we know, the official record for E.T.
Yep.
If there was another ride at Universal that you would want to set a record for of riding the most times in a day, what would it be?
Probably the Mummy, but that ride is impossible because that ride is always busy.
Yeah.
I actually rode each of the Harry Potter ride 3 times in one day. I rode Forbidden Journey 3 times in one day when I went to Islands, and when I went to Horror Nights this year, I did Escape from Gringotts 3 times. But honestly, I don't think that I'd be able to pull off another record like that, because there has to be a certain set of circumstances that goes to that. Like I said, shout out to Rachel. She's the only one I remember from the staff at ET is Rachel. The staff at that ride were some of the nicest people, letting me use that production crew entrance. They didn't have to. They could have just said, "Oh, just use your fast pass." But they actually let me use that production crew entrance. And that was when I did it. It was on a peak day. It was like in the middle of July.
Yeah.
And another circumstance that was extremely lucky for me was I usually like ordering my tickets through the phone, and I'm a Florida resident, so I'm like, oh, we get discounts or whatever. And I actually ended up paying like $300 for the 2 days. And when I got there, they're like, wait a minute, there's something wrong. Today's supposed to be a blackout day, so you're technically supposed to pay $500.
Jesus.
But the lady in the front desk actually said, you know what, since you've already paid and all of that, we'll bypass it, and you'll pay just the $300 that you ended up paying. So, and like I said, ET has no line, so that's like, I can't do this in the Mummy, because the Mummy would take me like all day just to get on the ride. So it has to be a certain set of circumstances that led to that. But yeah, I'm just glad that it happened. And for me, it's not about the record. Like I keep telling everybody, everybody comes up to me. Like, I've had fans from Japan, I've had fans from all over the world come to me like, yo, you're a hero, like you like, and I just tell them, like, I'm just a fan like you. Like, I'm just trying to keep this ride open so that my kids can ride it someday.
Yeah.
Like, for me, it's not about the record. Like, honestly, like, all of this that's happening, New York Daily News picked up the story and everything. Like,
Cool.
I didn't really do it for that. Like, for me, I don't want it because of the fame and the glory. I don't want all that. I just want the ride to stay open to show Universal, hey, we still love ET. This is still our favorite ride.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Go on then, Chris. If you could ride a ride for a record, what would it be?
If it was the middle of summer, Bill's Rat Barges.
See, we've done that 4 times in a row.
I thought about that, then I thought, whole day.
I heard that a couple in Hollywood rode the Jurassic Park ride 62 times.
Wow.
Whoa.
And then at the end, the guy proposed.
Oh, I did see
Oh,
that.
yes.
I heard about that.
Yes.
I think Universal posted that video.
Yeah, sometimes I get to thinking, I'm like, did they take inspiration from me? But I was like, nah. Because I think that happened like literally like a week after what I did. So I was like, nah, I don't think they took my idea. But still, like if I've seen people on my comments like, oh, we're gonna break the record, or there's a guy in my comment section that rode Men in Black 82 times in one day.
Wow.
And he has the video, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And so I've had people say they're going to break the record and all of that. And I'm like, all right, go ahead and try. But you have to be really out of your mind to attempt something like that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you have to take, going through that ride over and over and over again. Like, I could see how people just get tired. But, I'm just relentless. Like, when I put my mind into something, like I said, I'm a very competitive guy. And my friends will tell you it. So, like, when I put my mind into something, like, there is no stopping me. And for me, go on ahead and break the record. If you want to break the record, go ahead. Ride it 100 times in one day. Because at the end of the day, you're doing what I actually was trying to achieve, getting more people in the ride and bringing more publicity to the ride.
Absolutely.
So you're doing exactly what I had in plan the whole time.
Excellent.
Chris?
Yeah.
Are you going for Bill Rat Barges?
Yeah, and actually, you know what? I'd actually do Men in Black.
See, I discounted that one as well because my arm would hurt.
Yeah, I discounted that.
That's
and
what
it's the
stopped
ride
me.
I probably could ride the most times in a day.
I would just want to try to like max out multiple times.
Yeah.
Man, I suck at Men in Black. I am awful. Every time I'm like, oh, I did good. I look at the other scores. They maxed out the score, but I'm like, oh my Lord.
It's not often we don't get the suit, is it?
What I do like about that ride, there's a hidden Easter egg. Spielberg's in that ride.
Yes.
And I make sure I get him dead between the eyes.
Every time I ride that ride, I always get thrown to the left. I never go to his side. Like I can see him in the distance, but I can never see him like up close. So I was like, man, like that's one thing I want to do. I want to see the Spielberg Easter egg up close.
See,
Lee, what about you?
I'd go Transformers.
Okay.
I could ride that a lot of times.
You see, thinking tactically, I thought little to no queue, possibility of actually just staying on the ride. May get a bit seasick. Well, not necessarily seasick, but just sick because it's just round and round and round, but the carousel.
Oh my God, no.
I could do that. Sure, it's a short, well, it's one of the longest carousels I've been on, but it's a relatively short ride, and I reckon...
So you could do Stormforce if you're going to say that as well.
No,
actually,
Stormforce,
if you've got the stomach for it, and you can get on it enough... Doctor Doom, because it's only about a 20-second ride.
Hello, have you met me?
Yeah, but I'm saying if you've got the stomach for it, it's a 20-second ride. You could, in an hour, you could quite comfortably get on that.
And die.
20 or 30 times.
Yeah, no, stick with carousel.
Well, Johnny, thanks a lot for coming on the show and talking to us about your record.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. Again, talking about ET that long, I kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah,
that's good.
And I don't know if I mention it here, but I have a couple of props from Universal. So I'm a Universal fan, obviously, but like I like preserving like the history of it. I let me tell you about this one. The truck display from the window. I have it. If you pass by ET now, you're gonna see all the displays, but you're gonna see a bulldozer missing. That's in my house. And let me tell you about how that happened. I was in the prop shop, and you guys saw that I saw the bricks from the Monsters Cafe.
Yeah.
If you look on the right of that, directly on the right, it's sitting right there. I didn't buy it that day because I didn't even notice it. I looked back in my video and I saw that truck and I almost had a heart attack. I was like, because you saw in the video, I asked if there's anything of ET and the guy says no. So I was like, oh my Lord, like I missed it. I was kicking myself. And I was like, I missed it. An opportunity to own a piece of ET, and I missed it until I had the bright idea of contacting a guy on eBay who's a regular at that store, at the prop shop. and he sells things on eBay. He buys the props and he sells them on eBay for like double the money. And I got in contact with him. I told him, listen, I will pay you a ridiculous amount of money to go to Universal, buy that truck, and ship it out to Miami. And he charged me like $90, and in a couple of days it was already here.
Nice.
Right.
And when if ET ever closes, I'm gonna be the first one there. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure you will.
the last day, like I'm gonna be one of the last ones to ride it. Like I'm gonna be the one bawling my eyes out when it closes. And when all the props make their way to the prop store, I'm gonna buy all of them. The shop owner actually told me a story. He's like, one time we got a couple of these little pine trees, like tiny pine trees. They look like Christmas trees, and they were selling them for like $10 a piece. When they sold the last one, the guy that came in, he's like, "Oh yeah, those are from the forest of E.T." And the guy literally flipped out. He's like, "You do know we could have sold them for more money, and we could have sold them faster." Because the thing is that Universal has a habit of dropping props off at that store and not even telling them where it's from. Like the truck that I have, it doesn't even say E.T. It says as seen in window displays.
Yeah.
But like people like me that have been to E.T. so many times, I recognized that the first time I saw it. Like in the video, I was like, "That's from E.T."
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, Johnny, again, thank you for joining us and going over this. And I think that's going to wrap up the show for us today.
Yeah.
So,
It's been good.
yeah, definitely. I think we're pretty thorough on that. So,
Thank you guys so
again.
much for having me.
yeah, for
Thank you.
sure.
Thanks for coming on, Johnny.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, for Lee, Tracy, myself, and Johnny for being on, thank you for joining, and we'll see you next week.
Cut, print. That's a wrap for another episode of the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Never miss a show by subscribing on Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating and review while you're there. Not an Apple user? You can listen on Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, or your podcatcher of choice. Email us any questions or comments to podcast@uuopodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, YouTube, Instagram, and Pinterest. Just search UUO Podcast. Keep up with the latest news, rumors, and updates on our blog at uuopodcast.com. Thanks for listening. See you next week.